What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol BFRI for Biofrontera. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. You can see our chart is already marked up with a daily roadmap, and the obvious thing to point out today is the fact that we have now filled basically this large gap that was underneath us from, roughly speaking, 961 here to the highs of that prior session at 788. It filled all in one fell swoop. Really solid red day to the downside. But what I want to point out here is the fact that volume really isn't that aggressive. It's not over the top. It's certainly not like it was up here north of 100 million shares on the daily time frame. Is it the end of the world? Is the chart going to go back down to zero? I mean, based on volume, I wouldn't say that people aren't panicking in a dramatic sense yet. But notice the location where we've closed on today's session, right? It's kind of the gap fill area. It's also the support trend line here. So to me, tomorrow's going to be a very important day. Do we remain up and over this 788 pivot and do something like this? Or do we start breaking down? And in that sense, if that were to happen, that's where I would really watch out and not want to be involved inside of BFRI. Remember that if we come on over to the trade tab, obviously there are no shares to short and there are currently no options available on the stock. So you're not actually going to short this. You're just going to avoid it at all costs to the long side, right? So those are my thoughts based on the daily time frame chart using this 788-ish area as a major pivot. Above, fine, continue to watch out for bullish setups now that we've repaired the gap. We're above the support trend line. Below, look out below, right? And probably just take this one off of your radar. So knowing that, let's take a closer look at the 30-minute intraday time frame. Certainly a lot of bearish activity. I mean, notice how we just fall off a cliff on the open, consolidate sideways, and continue into the afternoon. And although it's not as big a volume as what we saw on the prior, shortened half-day session there where the green volume was picking up, notice that if I just get that off the chart, there we go. You can see that a little bit cleanly here. Volume was ramping up, right, as this sell-off was taking place into the afternoon, which is, again, a little bit more of a bearish indication. So let's take a look through the lens of the Fibonacci's coming in from the high of the move down to the low of the first move. So essentially, whoa, right about here. There we go. What you'll notice is that, all of these candles are well underneath your 38.2. Sure, at one point in time, there was a bit of a spike. Did take out the 38.2. It did take out the 50% even as well. But where did the candle close, right? There was, no real traction with that. A little bit of a spike, a little bit of a, panic reaction, then right back down for that continuation lower. So I would say that the bears certainly take the win no matter how you sort of slice the day. We'll come in from the high down to the true low and notice that your consolidation is still underneath the 38.2 from right around in here. So to me, that's, again, fairly bearish no matter how you cut the cake today. 911 is that pivot. So if we can get over that, then, and again, at that point, it's quite obvious we would be above the $8 pivot from the daily. But if we can get over that, maybe we retrace some of this more emotional sell-off, right? So use that as a line in the sand for longs as well. Remaining above 8 is a good thing. Watching for either bull flags, ascending triangles, anything that can break out up and over 911. Yeah, start to retarget the highs of today's session, the emotional area from where the breakdown started. So that's what I'm seeing to the upside. But again, remember that this is all in the context of a fairly bearish day today. So don't let that slip your radar just because we're talking about upside plays here. Really, again, this requires patience. It requires discipline to only get involved when it makes sense to get involved and, not sort of quote unquote just trying to catch the falling knife. So I would really require or advise that you use some patience here. Again, 8's that first area. If it holds, fine, keep it on your radar for longs. If it's underneath, I would start to think about other opportunities out there in the marketplace. So that's really going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.